everyone here at Full Purpose and Heart, and we are at the end of 2016. The years always go by so quickly, although sometimes the days seem to kind of mush together and we feel like we're living a marathon in one day. But the year's over and I can't believe it. So I wanted to do a little video and highlight some of my favorite things from 2016. Now, these are not my all-time favorite things. These are just some things that I discovered or experienced in 2016 and why I liked them and kind of fun things that I have about them just from 2016. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so 2016 had a lot of great highlights and great stuff. So I'm gonna cover a couple of things that were my favorites. I wanna cover some favorite products that I used, some games that I found, books that I've read, music that I've discovered and fell in love with, all in the year 2016. So let's start with my favorite product. My favorite product that I found in 2016 is my lip stain that I use. And when I first started, I was a little hesitant because I have been using the same lip stain or whatever, lip color since 2000, okay, I don't even know what year, 1997 probably, but not really 97. I always revert back to 1997 just because I feel like who says 2000 anything? Too many syllables. Anyway, so this year, at the beginning of the year, I reached out to my siblings and I said, my sisters mostly, and I was like, I need to revamp my makeup just because I've been using the same stuff for ages since I was in high school, help me out. And my sister-in-law introduced me to the lip stain. It's called Lip Sense and it's by Sense, I think. So here's the bottle. You can tell I really love this because it's got stains and garbage on it. Anyway, so she gave me one color, and the color that she gave me is called Napa. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so I was really nervous about it at first because it was so bold and so different. Guys, it's the only lip stain that I use all the time. Occasionally, it's a little bit too bright for me, and so I also have a color called Apple Cider. There it is. And I also love this one too. It's a lot more pale and it just kind of is a really good neutral color without being super neutral. And the only gloss that I have is the gloss that comes with it. It's called Glossy Gloss. And I use that, although I do want to invest in some of the other glosses that they talk about, and just because it looks kind of fun or whatever, and I do like it. The only downside that I would say to this product is that you cannot use any other kind of lip gloss or lip moisturizer over the top of this stain because it will, whatever it does, make the molecules within this stain come apart, and then it just kind of flakes off of your lips and makes your lips look really bad and unhealthy. And it's ugly. So I can't use any generic lipstick or a chapstick or anything. I can't put it on top of it. So I really just do it once in the morning. I don't really carry the gloss around with me during the day, so my lips don't necessarily have the gloss that I like, but it's fantastic. So that is my favorite product of 2016. So there you go. So let's do my favorite vacation of 2016. The favorite place that I went, okay, this is kind of a hard one for me because I have two trips, both of them very different and in very different categories, but both of them are my favorite. So my first favorite would be my trip to Peru. I was able to go to Peru. My mom has been living there for the last 2 years, and this was the end of her mission, that she went down there for a mission for our church. And so as the grand finale, she and my step-siblings were all gonna go down there. So we met up in Peru and we spent a week there, and we went to visit the Sacred Valley and Machu Picchu and all of the great sites along the ancient ruins and fun things. It was so incredible, and the best part of the whole trip was that I got to spend it with my step-siblings. My mom has been married to my stepdad now for probably 2 years. If you don't know me or my story, which most of you probably don't, my father passed away in 2009. So then she met my stepdad and about 3 or 4 years later, and they got married. And so anyway, they've been down there, and this was the first opportunity that I had to really meet my step siblings and socialize with them and be with them. And it was just really great because they're really fun people, and so it was fun to get to be with them and their spouses, and and none of us had kids, and it was an incredible, obviously it was Machu Picchu, so anyway, so that was probably my favorite trip of 2016. My second very close favorite, probably could be my favorite depending on what conversation I was having, is my road trip that I took this last summer. I took my 2 kids, we loaded up in my van and drove out to Arkansas, and it was 20 hours to get there, and we took 2 days, and we visited my sister and kind of spent time over there and saw all of my favorite celebrity families' sites, and it was just really awesome. So that was a very, very fun trip filled with lots of fun things too. So those are my 2 favorite vacations from 2016. Okay, let's talk about my favorite apps. Okay, so I have 2 apps that are my favorite. One is always been my favorite, but I didn't like discover it in 2016. So my favorite app from 2016 that I use the most is Instagram. I love Instagram. I love connecting with my friends through Instagram. I love posting on Instagram. So that's probably my favorite app that I use more frequently. But the favorite app that I found in 2016 is Blitzmoji, and it's a Disney app that it's free and you download it, and it's kind of related a little bit to Candy Crush in that you're trying to get like 3 in a row or 4 in a row or 5 in a row of the same character. But the fun thing about it is that as you kind of progress along in the game, you get little Disney emojis that you can then use in your text messages and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's probably my favorite new discovery of 2016. I play it a lot. I did also find some other apps this year, but they kind of fell off the bandwagon as the year kind of went along. So anyways, Blitzmoji I think is my favorite app game that I found in 2016. So that was fun. Okay, let's talk about school. My favorite, this is in no particular order, obviously. Okay, my favorite school item that I've been using a lot in my school, and purchasing it was really just the best thing I ever did. I purchased it probably at the beginning of, the very, very beginning of the year. I went, and anyway, so here it is. Do-A-Dot markers. I love them. They're so great and so versatile. I use them only for learning. We don't like play with them because I love them so much, and I have this like, even when I was a teacher, it was like my thing that I didn't want my kids, the students, to like use the supplies because I loved them so much. So it's the same in my home. So we only use these for like specific learning activities and learning games. What, buddy? So let's talk about my favorite house good, or the thing I have in my house. Now, I didn't discover this one in 2016. I think that I've had it for, ever. I just love having my house smell really good. And when you walk in the door, I just love that like fresh smell of whatever the season is. So I have loved my little wax plug-in, and I get these at Walmart. You can get them through, there's like the company Scentsy, and they have lots of great wax melts as well. But I just, I don't know, I just have been getting these ones at Walmart, mostly because I don't know a distributor for Scentsy. Oh, sorry. So what I really love about these little nightlight plugins is, one, they're nightlights, so that's really fun because I put them like downstairs, so in the middle of the night when I'm coming downstairs for the baby's bottle or whatever, there's a nightlight. I also love that it has this lid on it, because then as the wax is melted on the inside, and you're walking by, or you have company that it's unexpecting to have melted wax in there, you aren't going to have people putting their fingers in it, or little ones getting their toys in it or whatever, dipping their stuff. It's just really nice. But then of course the scent still comes out. So I really love it. And I love this Sentinel, these are the packs that I buy. Well, that one's upside down, and it comes with 6 blocks. So 1 block per unit. So you can have these. They also have some that, you can put on top of your counter space, whether in your bathroom or kitchen or whatever. And then they have some that you can combine different scents together. Anyway, there's tons of different scents that you can have depending on the season, and they're just super great, and I love them. They last about 3 days, and then you can rotate them out. So if you're really ambitious, you can rotate them out every 3 days, but I just keep them in for, the 3 days. Usually they're up for like 2 or 3 weeks before I'm like, I don't smell them anymore, I need to get new ones. So anyway, I really love these Scentsy. These aren't Scentsy brands. This is actually Sensational. Glade also has these, and then of course Scentsy does. And I think you cannot even get Scentsy online without having a distributor in your area. They'll probably mail it to you. I'm not sure though. So the other thing I really love about these is that you can put your oils in there if you're like an essential oil kind of person. And I don't know if you're like supposed to or if they recommend that. It definitely isn't a diffuser, which has more health benefits to diffuse the oil into the air, but I do occasionally put my oils in it, and just the warming the oils makes the scent come out, and that's fun too. So speaking of oils, let's go on to my favorite scent or my favorite oil of 2016. So this has been my favorite oil, and it's not, again, this is another product that is not my 2016 discovery, but I use it more than any of the other oils I have in my cabinet. And this is a blend that I have purchased, and it is called, dun 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 dun, Tranquility. Can you see it? Oh, you can't see it. There it is. It's called Tranquility. And here's the story behind Tranquility. And I think that maybe this might be part of why I love it so much. So I had just left my home, 18 years old, left my home and gone to college. And I was attending a school that was really close to my favorite aunt in the whole world. And her name is Aunt Lori. And the way that my family kind of worked, Aunt Lori and Uncle Kirk were really the only extended family in the like aunt and uncle department that I really knew. All of my other aunts and uncles lived quite a distance from us, and we could never like really see them. We didn't interact, but me and Aunt Lori and my cousins, just despite the fact that we only saw each other once a year, just had a really great relationship. Well, so that's the backstory. So I go to college, and this college that I went to was a couple, I don't know, 15, 20-minute drive from my Aunt Lori's house. And I had a really rough transition leaving home and like starting fresh on my own. And Aunt Lori came down to my rescue one day, and she brought with her this oil. And she just instructed me, put it on your pillow, put it on your hands, rub it on your feet, and it will kind of help soothe all of this anxiety that you're feeling and this homesickness. And I did. And I did exactly as she instructed for, the weeks ahead, and it really did help. And I think that like soothing smell of Tranquility like brings me back to that like moment. And those moments of anxiety and transition and fear that I was having as a new college student really were calmed. And so to this day, I love Tranquility. I use it for my kids especially my son, when he has like nightmares at night or he's afraid of nightmares or whatever, we use Tranquility and just put it on his pillow. Sometimes if I'm having trouble sleeping, I'll just put it on my pillow at night and it helps me sleep. I'll put it in my little diffuser in the air, and we do have like an oil diffuser, and it just kind of like sets this tranquil mode in my home. Guys, I love it. So this particular brand is from, it's called Aura, I don't know, Cassia maybe? Can you see that? Anyway, I can't find this anymore, and so you can find other brands that have the Tranquility and it kind of smells the same. I don't know, but I've been using this for, gosh, a decade and a half or something. Oh, it smells so good, even just remembering it. So anyway, kudos to Aunt Lori. I love you so much, and I'm grateful because you've changed this is still today, after a decade and a half, my favorite oil, and I have used it all during 2016, so that's why I've included it in this video, okay? All right, let's move on to my favorite crock pot recipe. Okay, so this is my favorite crock pot recipe. I got it on Pinterest. I'm always on Pinterest looking for fun things to do. And the recipe is on Pinterest, but actually my sister was the one who gave it to me. I was out in Arkansas on that road trip I was talking about, and this is one of the meals that she made for the family, and I was just like, I have to have this recipe. So it's from Six Sisters Stuff, and it is their macaroni and cheese. So I've put the link in the description box so that you too can make this macaroni and cheese. It's creamy, it's ooey, it's gooey, it's warm, it's in a crock pot. Hello, like that's like my first winner, because I could just stick it in there at the beginning of the day. What's that commercial with like set it and forget it when they're like cooking turkeys or whatever? Anyway, so it's fantastic. I love it. I would highly recommend for any family meal. I still struggle with like, what do you pair with macaroni and cheese other than like a green salad? So usually we have like green salad and macaroni and cheese and homemade rolls, and it's like a huge carb load, and I love it, but it is so good and creamy and easy. It's not like, complex with 1,000 different cheeses. It's just like cheddar cheese and then like cream of cheese condensed soup. Is that what it's called? I don't know. From like Campbell's, that like condensed cheddar cheese soup. Anyway, it's awesome. You should try it. I highly recommend it. Six Sister Stuff. 2 thumbs up for the win. Okay, here's another favorite thing. let's talk about music. Okay, so what was my favorite music of 2016? Number one, in my car, 97% of the time, we listened to Wreck-It Ralph. And this is from the Songs and Story line. They have tons of songs and story that you can purchase, and it has like 3 or 4 songs, sometimes a few of them have 5, but not very many. It's usually like 3 to 4 songs and then a story clip at the end where a narrator will narrate the story. And Wreck-It Ralph has been the winner this year. So we have listened to 2 mostly of the 4 songs because the other ones we don't really care for, whatever. And then we listened to the story. It's about a 15-minute story, I think. And so that's been a number 1 favorite in our van. I know, kind of boring, but that's been it. On the side note, sometimes at home, I often try to play music in the background at home. We play Pandora stations, and my favorite Pandora station right now is Sarah Bareilles, and it's just a really great mix, and it includes all of my other favorite kind of music genre. Anyway, I really like it. So Sarah Bareilles has been my Pandora station of choice for 2016. But my favorite song, like if we're gonna whittle it down, my favorite one song that no matter what I'm doing when it comes on is the song Shut Up and Dance. And it just is really like, I really like it. It's fun. So anyway, we listen to Shut Up and Dance occasionally, but I haven't purchased the song. If it's on the radio, which we hardly ever listen to the radio because we're always listening to Wreck-It Ralph. So anyway, we do love that song, and I always feel like I need to get up and dance. It's really catchy and fun, and it's a good little beat. So that's probably my favorite song of 2016, and we've really enjoyed it. So there you go. Let's talk about books. What is my favorite book of 2016? Now, I have to admit, I am not really a reader. I haven't read a full-time, okay, so let me start here. Every year, I make a goal to read 2 new books a year as like leisure reading. And I just am not a very good reader. I've never been a great reader, so this is like a good goal for me. Well, this year, I can't even remember what 2 books I read, like physical hard copy books. This is part of my goal. I know that I did it. I checked it off. But for some reason at the beginning of the year when I read these books, I didn't write down the title. So my favorite book that I remember was one that I listened to. I had an audiobook, and on one of my long drives, probably to Arizona and back, because I did that a couple times this year, I listened to the book Miracle Morning, or The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and it changed my life. It is such a good book, and I often have to reread it over and over to reinstill that motivation of me to have my miracle morning. So I'm not gonna get into it really deep in this video at all. So if you haven't read The Miracle Morning, I would encourage you to head over and kind of check out what that's all about. You can get it on the Amazon, and you can have an audiobook or an digital book or an actual physical copy, but it's fantastic. I'll have to do another segment someday of The Miracle Morning because unfortunately I'm not practicing it right this very minute of my days, but I do have a desire to do The Miracle Morning more intentionally because right now it's kind of a little on the side, but I do love that book, so that would be my favorite book of 2016. So let's talk about my favorite game. I am a gamer. I do enjoy playing games. I'm not talking like Dungeons and Dragons in the basement of my house or anything, but I do enjoy playing board games, and I have a brother-in-law who is just your world-class knowledge bank of the games of the world. And so I have a really great resource that I get to play lots and lots of fun games. So my all-time favorite game of 2016 is a game called Pandemic Legacy. And it's based off of the game Pandemic. So if you've heard of Pandemic, it's a pretty popular game. And then the game makers created a legacy version of that. And a legacy version is a game that you play one time, and it kind of follows a storyline. And you play, so Pandemic Legacy, for example, it covers the course of 1 year, and you're trying to find the cure to this I don't know, strand of whatever that has been unleashed over the world, yada, yada, yada. And so you and your band of mates or the other people that you're playing with are working together. It's cooperative. I love cooperative games. And anyway, so Pandemic Legacy, look into it. It's not terribly expensive, but it is a one-time game, which some people are like, well, why would you buy a game if you can only play it one time? When in actuality, you play it as much as 24 times because there are 12 months of the game, and you can play each month 2 times depending on if you win or if you lose. So if you lose the month the first time, then you can play a second time. If you lose the second time, then you just move on to the next month. So you can play the game as many as 24 times. Now think of all of the games in your closet. How many of them are you playing 24 times in the course of 1 year? So anyway, it was a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Pandemic Legacy. Favorite game of 2016. Okay, last one is my favorite material possession of 2016. Yep, I've got one thing that I love more than anything else as my material possessions, my worldly possessions of 2016, and that is my van. I love my van. Guys, I've always been a van lover. And so when my husband surprised me with my van for Valentine's Day, I could not have been a happier wife, a happier mom. And I've wanted a van since like I had one child, but I couldn't like justify it. I wanted a van like before I even had babies. So I love it. And now we only have 2 kids, but I just feel that van and it is the best for road trips. It's the best for joy and happiness. I love my van. So we have a Toyota Sienna and whatever. I don't have any like brand loyalty. If you've got a van and you love it, you drive that thing, girl, because I am all about vans. So all-time favorite worldly possession of 2016 would be my van. Guys, it's been so fun to talk about my favorite things of 2016 and all of the fun things that I discovered or experienced or enjoyed this year. I'm looking forward to 2017 and all of the fun things. I've got my little list set aside so that as the things come along, I can write them down. Hopefully you too have your favorite things of the year. If you have a social media channel and you have favorite things of the whole year, 2016, that you found or discovered or experienced or have used many times during the year, make your own video and make sure you just leave a comment below of where that link is, and I will put your link in the description box so that we can kind of talk to each other and hear what each other's favorite things are, and maybe something that you loved during 2016 I can integrate into my life in 2017. Anyway, Happy New Year, guys. Hopefully 2017 is great for you, and have a great one. We'll talk to you soon.